Hey guys, this is RD Techie, and today it's a quick video about 5 things I didn't know about sim racing before I started. So I got myself a Logitech G29. The full review of that and a long-term review at that is coming, and I've had such a blast jumping into sim racing. But I did notice 5 things I thought I should warn everyone else about when it comes to this, and it starts very simple. When I got the wheel, I thought, hey, I'll jump into the wheel and I'll be instantly fast. And I'll be faster than I was with a controller. Boy, was I wrong, because the first reason is, or first warning I have for you guys is that you will be slower. You will be slower than when you were on your controller at first. And that is a huge thing to take into consideration. If you think you're going to jump into a wheel and suddenly you'll start feeling like, oh, you're 2/10 up or a second or 2 up on your controller time, it is not going to happen. It takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of practice. It will guarantee you to improve past the potential of your controller, but you will be slower at first. I lost, I think, about 3 to 4 seconds. I would think that's the range you would lose. It's very heartbreaking when you go from being very comfortably within the pace or ahead of the pace to be a backmarker just because we swapped to a wheel, which is supposedly something that should make it driving easier. But the things I noticed was turning left and right quick on those quick left and right handers, and it's not so easy. It's not so easy with a wheel as like flicking the stick back and forth. But once you get used to it, it is a whole other level of potential speed that you can unlock, and that's the key to the wheel, is practice. Second point I want to mention, and this is something that I just come across, and this is a reason why there's a huge used market for, should I say barely used market for sim rig equipment. You will either love it or you will hate it. I've rarely seen a middle ground, and the reason for that is it's one of those things. It's that huge shock that when you start on a wheel, everything feels so much more harder to do. Just going around an F1 track that that you like. It feels like to be at the pace you were on your controller or what you're used to, it's just never going to happen. And that's not true. And the problem is, though, that huge shock you get when you start and you realize, oh my God, I'm so slow. That takes a bit to wear off, and most people don't let that wear off. They're like, oh, you know what, I don't have time for this. I'm just gonna get rid of it. I don't need it. I'll take a bit of a hit, but at least it won't be cluttering up my space. Or there are other kinds of people that will be like, yeah, I'll get to it later, pack it off, put it away, and then never come back to it. And it's a shame, because I think everyone would, once you get used to a wheel, it's another thing. But you will love it or you'll hate it. I rarely see an indifference when it comes to owning sim rig equipment, because if you didn't like it, you're gonna hate the fact that you spent the money for it. You're gonna sell it off. But that's the second one. And the third point that I want to warn you about, that I noticed, that I'll think of it as a warning, if you will, is it costs more than you think. And this is my personal experience. Now, obviously, if you're very financially minded, if you're very smart, unlike me, you may not have to run into this, but it will cost you more than you think. For example, for an Indian to get a Logitech G29, you have to pay around 25,000 rupees. Now that is roughly $300, $350, around about that. Now that's expensive, but considering the import duties and all that, it's not so bad. I was happy to pay that. I was like, you know what? I save up for it. I deserve this, and I'm probably gonna use it for content creation, so it's not gonna be a total loss. Not that I make much money out of that, but still. So I got it, and I was like, yes, this is perfect. Oh, this is what I wanted. And I started attaching it to my table, realized my table is 1 inch, and I'm not kidding, 1 inch too wide for the clamps to go in. Just 1 inch. Just 1 inch. Maybe even half an inch. So I used a second table. And this is where the money spending started coming. Me being the unreasonably hasty, impatient person that I am, I went and bought a second table. That cost me around 2,500 rupees. And that was one with wheels on. And I was like, you know what? It can lock the wheels, so I can do that. I can use it. It was a computer table, so it was supposed to take a lot of weight, so it's not a problem. And I brought it in, and I was like, you know what? This could work. This could work. The problem was the bottom is not like a flat bottom. It has this structure that is like a Z, and the pedals wouldn't go in. So the pedals stuck out here. I had to lean over to do it. So it was obviously not very comfortable. So that was 2,500 rupees I'm not getting back. I ended up giving the table away, not using it at all. And I went and looked into sim rigs. Now, sim rigs come in various different shapes and sizes. The one I wanted was simple wheel stand. And if you live in, well, anywhere else except India, you probably get a better deal for this. You might get it used. Here, it is not an option. I had 2 options, I think, on Amazon, and I had to pay around 10,000 rupees, and that is about $150. So, that wasn't very pleasant. So again, ching ching adds up, $150. Simracing comes through. A little bit of tweaking, a little bit of this and that, and it finally worked, and I'm very happy with it. Putting it in and taking it out of my workspace is fantastic, and I'm so happy, and I think I would have ended up buying it anyway, even if it did work on my table, because one thing you guys have to understand is, the inconvenience of putting it on and taking it out every time you want to play can make you start either using it less or looking towards what I have, which is a inbuilt wheel stand, which you just drag right in, plug, and drag right out, unplug. Simple. Or unplug and then drag right out. So the cost will keep climbing, and this gets even worse when you consider screens, a triple monitor setup, higher hertz, curved monitors, bigger screens. It can get so bad, and I'm going down that road, and I can see it, so I wanted to warn you guys. Just know that if you plan on spending 25,000 rupees for a wheel, and you get it and use it, and you will never... Oh, and I also ended up buying the shifter, which is another $100 in India. It's about 6,000 rupees. $80 in India, 6,000 rupees. And yeah, it's very easy to go down this. And this is not including all the games I've bought, which is Assetto Corsa Competizione. You have Assetto Corsa, Dirt Rally, Euro Truck Simulator 2, American Truck Simulator 2, all the expansions for all of them. You spend a lot of money. I just want to give you a warning. You can be as financially efficient as you want, but once you start going down, and you like it, if you hate it, you'll sell it, you'll take a loss, that's it. But if you like it, you will start letting your mind wander to spending more money. So that's just one of the bigger warnings. That's why I want to really spend my time on this point. I really want people to consider this. It is not going to be something that you just buy a wheel and it just ends there. You can obviously start off with that. There's nothing wrong with that, and that's the way you should do it. But just know that eventually it'll take a little bit more. It's a constant process, and you'll start justifying it for yourself. Hey, if I had that, see, this is my last purchase. I don't need to buy anything anymore. And then if I had this, I could do this as well. So that's okay. A bigger screen. Oh, it means more time to edit, more space to edit. Yes, bigger screen, please. Triples. Yes, who doesn't want triple monitors? Yes, let's go for that. And that's not just for driving. That's for everything. Productivity. Just be careful when you go down this road. The fourth point that I learned is that it will probably end up dominating your playtime. I'll give this in a little bit of a caveat. I was playing Apex Legends a lot before I got the wheel. I also played a bit of COD here and there, but not much. I was playing NBA 2K21 and a little bit of F1 2020, because 2021 wasn't out yet. Then I got the wheel. And then I played F1 2020, American Truck Simulator, Euro Truck Simulator, some random game called The Bus. Don't buy that game. Which was not fun. I refunded that. F1 2021 now. And now, after what I feel is about 2 months of only driving games, day before yesterday, I tried one game or 30 minutes of Red Dead Online. And I enjoyed it, so I will probably play it some more. It just feels like, unless it's a driving game, I really don't care anymore. I watched the entirety of Microsoft's E3 just so I could see Forza Horizon 5. And that was it. I didn't really care about anything else. Like Sea of Thieves, I was like, whatever. Stalker, whatever. Everything else was like, I don't care what you got. Just show me Forza. Please show me Forza. Please make it 2021. That was my only thing. And I watched it and I waited and it finally dropped in November. I'm getting it. But the last, and not in any way the least, is the fact that if you stick with it. I mentioned being slow, that I mentioned it feels like you just won't ever have the time. But if you stick with it, you really don't need enough time. You just need to be enjoying what you do. But if you do start to enjoy it and you start disabling those assists and you start, taking those racing lines a little bit more seriously and you do all that, the satisfaction, the reward, the feeling of getting rewarded for a perfect lap around a track you hated on a controller with a wheel, and how you sucked at it the first time you tried it and how much you improved. That sheer feeling of improvement is so rewarding, and it's unmatched. And I will say this, I had a stream about a week ago. I was playing in F1 2020, my team. I was playing as the BMW team that came back in F1, and we were in France, and we had a horrible qualifying because of the weather changing. I started in 10th place, and I wrote that race off. I was like, there's no way. If I can keep 10th, I'd be happy. But as the race progressed, we started catching people, which was honestly happening for the first time in my, that whole season. And I started catching one after the other, including Verstappen, and then getting the Mercedes. And I got a penalty for corner cutting for once. And that meant I finished in second, but I had opened up 2.5 seconds gap to Hamilton in the front. I needed 0.5, but I couldn't get it. So I did finish second. But I will tell you, I have never felt so much joy from a gaming moment than I did at that point. It's extremely rewarding. And I feel if you get a taste of that and you're hooked and you just want to get better and better and better, and you want to get better at every stage. But those are the 5 things I notice when it comes to sim racing after buying the wheel. And some of them are warnings to people that are considering. Some of them are reasons you should go for it. But it's just 5 things I thought of, and 5 things that came to me as a new sim racer, as a newbie. I have no shame in saying that because that's where everyone starts. And you just keep working at it and you will improve. If you happen to know any other things you notice, things you want to warn or tell people about, please do let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. This is RD Techie, and I'll see you guys in the next one. We just crossed 800 subs, so if you don't mind, and if you haven't already, please do consider hitting that red sub button. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.